Hello, and welcome to the CDAO Magazine interview series. I'm Jonathan Steinert, partner in financial services and technology at Guidehouse. I have been working in the industry for the last 10 years within financial services as a big data practitioner, as well as an advanced AI and data engineer. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Krish Swamy, the Chief Data and Analytics Officer of Citizens Financial Group. Hey, Krish, would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Thanks, John. Thanks for the introduction. Krish Swamy, I lead up data and analytics and AI here at Citizens. For people who don't know Citizens well enough, we are a super regional bank with close to 1,000 branches, large presence in the Northeast and in the Midwest. I happen to be based out of on the West Coast, the San Francisco Bay Area. So yeah, I've been in the role for about a year and a half, coming up in 2 years in the early fall timeframe. Enjoying my time here at Citizens and looking forward to this chat.
So I have a couple questions for you that I want to kick off with. What gets you most energized about your role with the bank?
Yeah, definitely. So I think if I were to take a big step back, the thing that, in my opinion, should motivate any CDAO is how do we use all of the data that we have within all of the enterprises and companies or government departments or wherever we work in, and how do we use that in the best possible way to drive decision making, drive great customer experience, to make things smooth for our users and so on. So for me, I think that it's exactly that. Banks always have been a treasure trove of data, and banks have done, I think, really, really well to use that data for executing transactions. So, like, when you need to transfer money from your account to another account, or when you need to send money to somebody, or when you want to make a payment, or when you want to make a purchase using your credit or debit card, things work almost 100% of the time. Okay, and when they don't work, it's usually a fraud-related reason or a technology glitch or some such thing. So banks, I think, have always done a really good job using data for processing transactions. I think the opportunity in front of us, in front of banking, and definitely also in front of Citizens, is how do we use the same data for driving customer experience? How do we do that for putting out better products, okay, which are more in tune with customer needs? How do we improve our own financial position and our profitability? I think that's all of the opportunities that we have in front of us, and it's getting to exercise those opportunities, working within a company which I feel really positively about when it comes to culture is I think what excites me the most. Every single person that I meet with at work is really open and really excited about the possibilities of using data for all of the reasons and all of the purposes that I just talked about. And it's, I think, this combination of the opportunity and the great culture that we have within Citizens that gets me the most excited, at a super macro level.
So with data and culture being some of your biggest areas of focus, how will you use those to kind of create focus for your teams on essentially delivering what you need for your customers?
Yeah. So let's start getting into some of the specifics in terms of where we stand from a data standpoint. So the data foundations that we have within Citizens is really, really solid. Okay, so for the last 4 to 5 years, we've been on a journey to move a lot of our applications and data into a cloud platform. We work with AWS. And I think while doing that, I think it's given us a great chance to modernize the data infrastructure, to simplify things, to make things easier to use, make data easier to find, and so on. So I think the company systematically has been making a lot of these investments. We have a number of data assets within the company which are really kind of industry leading in terms of the level of thought that has gone into them, the level of sophistication with which they've been built. So I think we made some really good progress on the data front. Now, on the culture front, it is about how do you get now people to use that data in the best possible way for decision making. So, and that then takes on different forms. So, what kind of outreach do we do from the data team to the users so that they're aware of all of the data assets that is available? How do we upskill them and get them trained on the latest tools, open source technologies, for them to be able to use the data so that they are actually being empowered to use the data in its entirety and with all of the richness and depth that comes with the data. What do we do in terms of constantly looking at our talent model to see whether we have people who demonstrate the requisite curiosity, the kind of the problem solving mindset as they take on this work. So all of this is, I think, what goes on to the people side. So I think it's a constant kind of up leveling on both of those dimensions. How do we get the data to increasing levels of refinement? And that's going to be an ongoing journey. We are, I would say, about 3/4 to 75% there when it comes to, I think, what really, really good would look like. And then, concurrently, how do we continue to push on the talent side, upskilling not only the data analytics professionals, but literally everybody across the bank. Just to give you one or two sound bites that would be helpful. We have this program where we made access to data training essentially available for everybody at the bank. And every month we have a leaderboard of, who are the people who are the top trainees, okay, who spend the most amount of time getting trained on the platform. Invariably, if you look at the top 10, 7 or 8 are people who are not in a data analytics job family, okay? And that makes me feel really, really good because it's not just the data analytics people, but it's really everybody else who's embracing this culture and starting to get value out of all of this.
That's really cool to hear that you're introducing some of that gamification into your learning. And I'm really wondering how that's helping you leverage your data effectively to kind of reduce the cost, create that culture, lower the friction into those pieces. So I think that'd be kind of an interesting thing to explore here.
Yeah. So, see, I think the way that starts to manifest itself is that the conversations around data are becoming a lot more around what are the root causes, what are the second order root causes which are driving certain outcomes and numbers that you're seeing, versus debating and questioning ourselves whether the data is even right. Okay, so I think there's been a lot of investment in the data quality to make sure that the metrics that we are looking at are the right metrics. And when we have those right metrics, the conversation shifts a lot more to why did this happen? How did this compare with like previous month or previous year? What could be underlying some of these trends? What should we be doing going forward? What is the test and learn that we should be trying out in case some of these things are not clear, for us to be a lot more tighter on a lot of these hypotheses. So I think it allows us to have a lot of that type of richer conversation. In terms of just sheer usage, we have this internal tool called Data Marketplace. The usage of Data Marketplace has grown 15 to 20x, okay, 15 to 20 times what it was a year and a half ago. Okay, and I think that speaks volumes to how we've been improving the data environment, but also importantly, how have users been able to take advantage of that data environment to be able to drive better decisions for our customers and for the business.
So, with the advent of the data marketplace, can you give me a little bit more about how people are able to use that to start to build some advanced analytics, and how are they able to understand what data sets they're supposed to use? And
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's really going to be critical to a lot of your business decisions and your culture and training.
Yeah. See, I think the way, let me give a kind of a lower level on what the data marketplace actually is, okay, and what we've done there. Okay, so as you can imagine, at any big enterprise, and Citizens is no different, data comes distributed across hundreds and thousands of applications and running into tens of thousands of tables. Okay, that is the most granular level at which the data resides. Now, if you expect any business user to have a good picture in their head of what is actually in each of those tens of thousands of tables, that's going to be an impossible task. Okay, so what we've done is we've broken up our entire data ecosystem into a number of different domains. So the data is basically grouped underneath each of those domains. So that's step one. Step two, what we've done is we have pre-joined a lot of the data across multiple of these tables. So let's say let's take an area like consumer lending, okay, and let's take credit cards underneath that. The data might be distributed across dozens of tables, but what we've done is taken a lot of that data, pre-joined it, leveraging some of the subject matter experts and the data experts in the space, and created more easy to consume tables. Okay, so what happens is that now for most users, I wouldn't say this is for 100% of the users, but for most users, the needs of the user can be met by some of these pre-curated tables. Okay, but we don't stop at the tables themselves. What we've also done is we built easy to use dashboards on top of it. We built the ability for somebody to write a SQL query on top of the data to be able to pull that data out. We also created data extracts. So you can specify filters, conditions, etc. And you can get an extract of the data, which you put into a user space and start to use it for further analysis. So I think by organizing the data better, bringing it together, but then having these dashboards, other kind of consumption interfaces on top of the data, we are able to make that data to be more consumable.
I'm glad that I was able to have a quick chat with you, Krish. Thank you again for joining me today, and thank you for all of your insights. Please visit CDOmagazine.tech for more information. Thank you very much for everybody joining us.
Nice talking to you, John.